Hi, this is Tyler,
Hi, this is Justin.
This is Josh.
and this is the Dynasty Champions League first podcast video. Today, we will be breaking down our Dynasty first year 2019 hot takes. Now, without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So, my first hot take to discuss between us is that CJ's team will not be finishing in last place this year. Now, I know since Declan's departure, we have had a lot of fun ripping this team, being the convicts of our Dynasty League, and many other fun names that I personally have created. But my personal opinion is since CJ has taken over, the team has made clear moves to work on moving towards a future next year. With the acquiring of people like Sony Michel and Josh Jacobs to a team that already had some young guys like N'Keal Harry and Lamar Jackson, and I just feel like CJ's team has a future to grow, and it may start this year with this team not finishing in last place. Justin, how do you take that?
I agree, but I don't know about making I think his team's on the come up, but I don't think it's this year. I think it'll be next year where he really starts to see improvement.
Well,
but,
what I'm looking at is more of he doesn't finish in the last place like we're all perceiving he will.
like he'll get the 7.
I think he'll flirt with the 7 or maybe 6 based on injuries, but I feel as a hot take he may not finish in last place. Pisani, you have any views on
I
that?
definitely view that the injuries will cause a big downfall, and especially CJ's team. Some starters going down could have a big impact in him taking the last place.
I agree. Sony Michel's an injury-prone guy, and you still have to wait for the Tyreek Hill suspension news to come out. But I feel like there is a window of opportunity for CJ to not finish in last place potentially. I really do. So we'll go ahead and move on to our next take. Justin, you want to go ahead and take
Yeah,
field
I
the
got
next
it.
one?
I feel I'll start with my first player take team take, and that's Pisani's team. While having amazing starting value, it lacks very a lot as far as bench depth.
So
And
where specifically do you think Pisani will land come end of the season?
well, if any of his players like Kamara get hurt, well, I guess he has the handcuff, so that's not too much of a concern. But if his players do get hurt, I don't think he'll land at the 1. I just don't think it's possible with the players he has on his bench. Like he has Lamar Murray, which is like the backup, like his handcuff, but
Lamar Miller.
Lamar no
Murray.
Oh, Latavius Murray. Yeah,
Sorry,
got it.
I'm dumb.
All good.
But like, while that'll help him if Kamara gets hurt. If anything happens with that, his next is Cohen.
Yeah,
Which is
I can agree to that. And my take on it is I think Pisani has a really really solid chance of taking the 1. I mean he does get to play CJ twice. He gets some competitive matchups against Hoagie a couple times and Xavier, more middle teams. I think Pisani does play me twice, but outside of that, he kind of gets more middle teams. He really does have a chance to control where he lands in the playoffs. But I mean, Pisani, it's your team. How do you feel about that take? Any feel on how you think your team will be doing?
I don't know. I especially have great fear in my bench. Cohen with potential in Chicago. The coach went out and said that he would have the same exact role as last year, which is not promising.
I mean, a third down guy, he's a receiving back. I mean, it's not an ideal situation, but it's not like any others. So it could be interesting.
Calvin Ridley also definitely going to improve this year. Mike Williams taking over definitely targets from Tyrell going to Oakland. So there's some upside, but there's not that much talent in the bench that could help him through injuries.
So
Me.
I guess what you could be looking forward to adding depth in the near future. Pisani, you want to go ahead and give us your second take?
Or this will be his first.
Your first take? Yes, I
My
apologize.
first.
Anything you got here? I mean, I do agree with the first take. Maybe Pisani does need. Sorry, excuse me. Some work on the depth, but I think his starting lineup's incredibly promising. Do you have a take?
Say something about Justin's team.
Okay.
I do like the running back 1 and 2, but after that it just goes severe downhill. Kenyon Drake in the flex. Now he could potentially have a good role here in Miami this year. I just don't see it with Kenyon showing really inconsistent numbers last year.
Well, I think me as a Dolphin fan, specifically speaking, gosh, Adam Gase is a running back killer. It's the same reason that I do not like Le'Veon Bell. It's just tough to believe in what Adam Gase does for running backs, and that's not very much. I mean, Kenyon would average. I mean, he'd have weeks where he was touching the ball maybe 5 times, and for a starting running back, that's just ridiculous. Now, what has been done is they brought in a defensive coach, and the majority of that happening means the running game will open. Defensive coaches aren't really as big on air raid; they're more ground and pound, run clock to keep the defense fresh. So I think Kenyon Drake could have a surprising rise in value this year. Now, having him as your backup to who I personally believe is the best running back core in the game right now, Justin with Elliott and Barkley, I think having Kenyon Drake isn't ideal as a backup, but I think it could be worse, and that's what we're seeing with Justin's team right now. I think it could be a lot worse. I mean, for his starting lineup, I think he's in a really good position. Justin, you have any takes on that?
I do agree that Kenyon Drake isn't like the ideal guy on my flex, but there's still a lot of time before season starts. Plus, having those two at my starting running backs, I don't think that's like a huge concern for me. Like having one position that's not perfection is okay right now. I just feel like I'm at a point of like I'm still working on upgrading my flex a little bit, but
Absolutely, but what we've seen is if you're going to add depth, you have to trade away some key pieces. So look forward to seeing exciting trades in the future where Justin's adding depth, maybe losing one of the starters. We're just gonna have to see. Right now, his starting lineup, I feel looks really really good, but I think Sonny's right there. A little bit of a depth problem. So I'm gonna move on to my second take. And that is a surprising take. I think this certain team has gone very under the radar, and that's Xavier. I think Xavier has full potential to make moves at the end of the season and rise in the rankings and find himself as the 4 or maybe the 3 in the playoffs. Now, being in a league with Xavier for multiple seasons, there's a lot you got to know about this player. He does not really give up on his teams very much. Well, sometimes that's perceived. He is a really good trader. It's hard for me. I know you guys find challenge in wanting to trade with me, but goodness gracious, what you guys feel about that is how I feel with trading with Xavier. He somehow always has some kind of leg up when it comes to trades that is scary for juvenile kind of players. So he does know what he's doing, and he's very good at making late moves and smart moves for the end of the season. And he always will be a threat, no matter what his team looks like. And I think that he's gone incredibly under the radar this year, and there's a chance that he may take over and grab the 4 spot, maybe from Hoagie, or even climb up to the 3 and knock down what we're seeing as the 3 heads of the league: Justin, Tyler, and Pisani. You guys have any takes on that?
I actually didn't see that one coming, but
Yeah.
but I do agree, and I have seen that he's a really great player, so wouldn't be surprised, but I think his team's at a point where it would need a pretty big overhaul for that, but
I mean, we're seeing a week 1 matchup with basically 2 out of the 3 people we could see sneaking into this 4 spot for the playoffs, and that's Xavier versus Josh Hoagie. We're seeing 2 teams, which are it's an incredible matchup because we get to see 2 teams go up against each other that could have playoff implications. And I don't think his team is that bad. I think with George Kittle on his team, he has the tight end up. He's one of the top 3, so that's very important. And then he has Amari Cooper and Evans, so that makes his wide receiving crew very interesting. And then you can't let go of some of the sleepers he's holding on to on his bench. I mean, Austin Hooper could have a breakout. There's been a lot of rumors on that. You got DK Metcalf, who may be doing something with Seattle in that running back kind of style offense. And you got Julian Edelman on the bench.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I preached multiple times. That man on the bench is incredible. It's I think it's a very good thing for him to have. And then you can't let go of the fact Peyton Barber, I don't really know what Arians will do with the Bucs running game, but they don't look to add really anything else to it. Peyton Barber could be the guy. And then we can't really look past. He's got a bunch of running back depth. And they may be injury style guys, but I could see Xavier making some moves with that depth and potentially making it into the playoffs. You guys any takes on that, Sonny?
I think I agree.
All right. So we're going to do one more take for this video, and then we will be coming out with a second video to finish off our takes. Justin, why don't you kick that off?
Okay, my next one is Kyle's team. I think it has a lot to do with I think he's putting a lot of value on his team, where I think he's in need of a major overhaul as far as bench depth and actually starting lineup, but he's being, as far as what I've seen, very like picky, which is understandable, like as far as trades.
Yeah.
But it's a little, I feel like it's a little much, where there's a level of like necessity that he needs and he doesn't either know or understand.
Now, personally, with what I've seen with Kyle is the equiption of DeAndre Hopkins with CJ. Now, that trade was interesting when it happened because it gave CJ more running back depth, and it gave Kyle a named player, which I honestly didn't think he really needed. And he let go of Jacobs to make that happen. And that may not have been the best move with Kyle, who may have to rebuild come mid-season. We may not see him as a serious playoff contender. Well, I do see him as one of the 3 guys that could be scoping out that playoff spot. I don't know if he is on the top of those 3. Now, I like his receiving core. That's including Kelsey. He's got the 2 best wide receivers and Travis Kelsey. But running back is just weak. I don't really see Le'Veon Bell doing well with Gase, and Lindsey is just I don't know.
Undrafted.
He's an undrafted running back. I agree. Now, Pisani, you're a Jets fan. How do you feel about Le'Veon Bell this year?
I haven't seen much. I've seen some reports about him getting along with the team. I know he didn't come in till late for a training camp. He had his own workout. He was on his own. He thought he knew what he was doing. But he didn't connect early enough to maybe have a good relationship with the team. He, like you said,
30 seconds.
Adam Gase with that running back.
He scares me with the running backs. Definitely does. I think there's a lot to look forward to this year with all of our teams. Again, we're going to be coming out with another Hot Takes video immediately after this one, a part 2. So stay tuned for that. We're quite excited to publish that. And see you later, Dynasty League.